Hi, it's Joy and thank you for watching The Clone Wars Season 6, Episode 13, Sacrifice. This is the season finale of Season 6, the penultimate, well, the last episode of the penultimate season of The Clone Wars. That is crazy to me. Yoda is on a journey that I found absolutely fascinating, and now we're going to the birthplace of the Sith, the homeworld of the Sith, and I know nothing about that. I'm not even 100% sure I knew that they had a world, so, I mean, I don't mean like there's a whole civilization of them or anything, but no, I don't really know anything about this beyond maybe having vaguely heard of it, so I'm so excited to jump in. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance. Let's go. Whoa. So there was potentially a Sith civilization, even though there are now just 2 of them. What is waiting for him here? They're like darker elements of the Force here, in the same way that the sort of, well, I assume they were good or maybe neutral elements of the Force he's seen elsewhere. Oh lord. I was not expecting evil snake slugs.
Only nothingness awaits you, Jedi.
Yes. But he is aware that that is not the case for him. You were stronger than them. You always have been.
Tell Lord Sidious I am on my way.
Just the fact that he can just casually pop to Coruscant. Honestly, I feel like I would want and happily read a non-fiction history book of the galaxy. I love history in the real world, and I love history in fictional ones too.
Created the rule of 2. You did.
Ooh. I mean, the rule of 2 may have been a little bit extreme. Especially given that the 2 continue to kill each other. Sure.
Exist. You do not anymore.
Yep. I love Yoda. He was like, if anything, you're just an irritation. I'm on my journey. That's his ship that he flies around in. You'd look out the window and think, oh, that's Dooku's ship. And he's wandering around in his Sith robe.
Must act swiftly.
Oh, the Chancellor's just gone on a holiday briefly. Don't worry about where he is now.
Absolute darkness.
Well, it sounds lovely. Let's get this show on the road.
The chamber where the Sith be careful, for what they may offer will certainly feel like an answer.
Whoa. I believe in Yoda. I mean, in some ways, this is another one of those instances where we know he is able to remain after death and be a presence, so we kind of know he has to succeed here.
Now, hold out your hand.
Anytime these 2 are together, he is just waiting for Dooku to kill him, right? Is today the day? Can Yoda walk in and be like, hey, wait, that's Palpatine's voice? And everything changes.
We shall come.
He must love these moments when he gets to let his true weirdness out.
Free me!
No.
Nothing to show me the Sith have.
Thanks, Rex.
Yoda, this isn't real.
What are your orders?
Yoda,
Their power.
remember the truth.
Skywalker, no.
It's like he senses the darkness in Anakin rising. Yoda, wake up, please. This is insane. It's like he is sensing that Anakin is losing himself, is going to be lost to the dark side in many ways. So dramatic. That is deep on so many levels. If only, like, Palpatine is playing with him here in ways he doesn't even know. Like, Anakin needs saving in ways they don't even comprehend.
Let him die, and you can stop all that I will do.
It's awkward because that's sort of true. Obviously, we should never let him die. We should figure out.
Not yours.
Oh. Yoda would give everything for those he cares for and those under his charge. He's willing to give his own life to stop the dark side. Harry and Voldemort, we doing alright?
We have failed to break Master Yoda.
Yep, he's stronger than you.
There is another Skywalker.
There is another Skywalker and babies? Holy shit! Oh no, does that mean she's pregnant? The seeds are growing.
Time to go home. It is.
R2 is like, yep, good. Been waiting for you to say that. This has been a lot.
Eager to hear your report.
Afraid. Not much there is to say of my journey.
Just a bit of a holiday.
Open to us, a path remains. That unknown for the Sith is. Through this path, victory we may yet find.
In the long run.
Victory in the Clone Wars, but victory for all time.
I mean, it's for like 20 years, potentially. But yeah, some very hard lessons being learned. Gosh, just the sinister feel when you know what's coming. Okay, so that episode was insane. I loved seeing the Moribund is that what it's called, the Sith homeworld, and you know, my questions were basically answered in that there used to be a race of Sith who would constantly be, I guess, struggling for power, because that kind of dark, power hungry way of life, you were always going to be trying to get on top until there was only one left, and he created the tradition of there being two Sith, and then every single time the apprentice is like, my turn now, stab, hello apprentice, my turn now, stab, hello apprentice, until we get to present day. That was fascinating by itself. Like, if that was all we had, that would have been enough to be truly fascinating. But then we had the Sith coming here. You know, this was such a big opportunity in Palpatine's mind that he was willing to leave Coruscant with Dooku. If somehow they'd been seen or found, that could have been everything. I know, like, I can't remember how the actor's chin is. I doubt the actor's chin was as pronounced as this guy's chin. But, like, you'd know that chin anywhere. The way he tried to get through to Yoda, he tried to break him first with the idea of, oh, you know, just, like, I'm on your side, set me free and I can help you, even though he had, like, Sithy eyes or whatever, and Yoda stayed strong. And then giving him a mission, and showing him, you know, losing the people, almost being able to find out who the Sith Lord is, having it at his fingertips, knowing that if he just let Anakin fall, he could get there, he could find out the answers, he could save everybody, but he would have to lose Anakin. That within itself showing the strength of Yoda, that he stayed true to what was important in the mission. He was willing to sacrifice himself, but not others. But I think also Palpatine was playing an even crueler trick on him, that he, by using Anakin, of all the people, because, you know, Yoda is technically at this point closer to some of the Jedi that he has been around for more of his life than Anakin. Obviously, like, he's seen Anakin from a very young age. He knows Anakin is a very significant person. There's the whole prophecy thing. Like, I know Anakin is significant, but you kind of think if you're trying to tug on his heartstrings, there are people that he is closer to. But Anakin is the one that Palpatine has his hooks in, and somewhere in Yoda's mind, he is concerned about Anakin potentially slipping towards the dark side. I think he's concerned about everybody succumbing to the dark side, because the dark side is very strong and it's muddling everything. But I think in some ways he's not willing to admit the signs are all there, and if they weren't in the middle of a war, if they had more time, they could probably spot them. And I like that in that moment he refused to sacrifice Anakin. It kind of makes you think that if things had gone differently, how hard they would have fought to get him back from the dark side. But obviously Palpatine's plan was a little bit too foolproof. So I thought that was just really deep in a lot of other layers. And maybe that's just me totally reading into things, but I enjoyed the layers I can see there. And yes, Palpatine's like, oh, he just went off world, yeah. No biggie, the Chancellor often goes on random holidays for day trips with the enemy, don't you? And then the ending, the Force emotions, saying, you know, there is another Skywalker. And then hearing the babies crying, now like that. I mean, there's only one season left. So, hypothetically, I don't know how much time is going to pass in those 12 episodes, I think it is, but I imagine Padme is pregnant at this point. Probably their reconciliation after their little fallen out over Clovis. They have conceived some twins, and technically there are 2 Skywalkers out there, but Leia never really gets to do her Jedi-ness overly much. And kind of planting that seed in Yoda's head that it's now time for him to start playing the long game. You know, Palpatine or whoever the Sith Lord is, where they're beginning to uncover just what a long-term plan they've had, just how far-reaching their plan is, and how much careful thought and development has been put into their plan, and that is why they are winning. And so, although the plan we have isn't quite as tactical or strategic, it's a lot more relying on faith and relying on the goodness of others, relying on the fact that Luke will grow up to be somebody who doesn't succumb to the dark side and is able to fight back against the Force, and ultimately is able to even turn his own father back to the good side of the light. You know, it is relying a lot on having faith that these children that you don't even know are going to turn out the way you want to do, and that the people are going to survive long enough to help them and guide them on their path. But if anything, the Jedi and the light, you have to keep that faith. That's why when things are the darkest, when you watch everything you've built your entire life falling apart around you as the Jedi are dismantled and murdered, that is what kept Jedi like Yoda going, was knowing that there was hope, there was a reason we were fighting for. You know, it didn't matter if he fell in a battle, he could ultimately keep fighting and be there for Luke just enough, and then Luke could one day be there for Grogu. And I thought that was a really interesting. The seeds are already being planted. You know, it wasn't a on the fly, spur of the moment, oh cool, Padme's just had Anakin's kids, great, let's do this. I mean, obviously right now Yoda is not writing down Padme pregnant with twins. You know, obviously that plan was a little bit more spur of the moment, but the idea that there is another Skywalker, I mean, I'd immediately be going and looking into Anakin's cousin to be like, any Force signs here. But yeah, I think it's interesting. You can kind of see at this point that Yoda is beginning to reevaluate his approach. He's really understanding just how much they've lost their way, in the sense of they've got overwhelmed with winning the war, and the war being the most important thing, when there is actually a lot of other stuff going on that they need to worry about. So that was a really good episode and a very good ending to season 6. And then there was not going to be any more, which is crazy. Ma Exie, one of my patrons, has sent me 4, I believe it is, unfinished episodes that take place between this episode and episode 5. So I'm definitely going to watch those. And at this point, undecided on whether or not I will edit and upload the reactions. I will see like how much I enjoy them, if I think the reactions are worthwhile. With like unfinished episodes, I don't really know what to expect, but I'm going to watch those because apparently the story is one that is held with a lot of regard by fans, so I do want to see it. And yes, also I might not have time to edit it, and I don't want to delay the rest of the reactions, so we will see. But yes, it will be out not too long after this one, if I do manage to edit it and post it. So yes, a reminder that you can find the unedited version of this on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.